So today we are going to be starting with matrices, and this is tutorial 2 of our R tutorial for data science and machine learning. And the first thing I'm going to do right now is to press Ctrl L on the keyboard to clear the screen. I taught you this on the first lesson, Ctrl L to clear the screen. This is not like CLS or CLR or clear that you use in Windows DOS prompt. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is to create a matrix, and then I'm going to explain how to create a matrix. And I've also kept this window open because we are actually going to be writing out things. In fact, we are going to be starting with writing. So we are creating this matrix, matrix A equal to, is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4. So how do we create it? You use the words, the function matrix. So inside it, you now specify the data you want to use. So remember we mentioned C in the previous tutorial. C is a function that represents collection or concatenation. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And at this point, I could actually just say enter and it creates this matrix. So if I type A and check what A is, it creates a matrix. So what is created is called a column vector. So it created a column vector. I'm going to just write it. I need you to know these terms. So that's column vector. But since this is not what we are talking about, we are not going to be interested in this matrix. We are simply going to call it 4 by 1 matrix. So it's created a 4 by 1. So what it means is created a matrix of 4 rows and 1 column. So basically it did something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, which theoretically this is also a matrix. So how do we force it to create a 2 by 2 matrix? How do we force it to create a 2 by 2 matrix? It's simply by telling it to use n row and n columns. That specifies number of rows and number of columns. So simply say, basically we press the up arrow and it can display what was there before. So after specifying the collection, you say comma and then say n row, number of rows equal to 2 and number of column equal to 2 as well. So at this point, if I run it, it creates a matrix A, and if I check what is there, you can see that it creates a 2 by 2 matrix. But come on, there's something wrong. It's saying the matrix to be 1, 3, 2, 4. So basically, it's giving us a matrix A that is 1, 3, 2, 4. So the reason it's doing this is because when you create a matrix in R, that matrix is filled by columns. In default, the matrix is filled by columns. What it means is that it's going to take this data you provide, these 4 items you provide, and it's going to fill the first 2 columns and then fill the next 2 columns and so on. So that is what by columns means. So to stop it from filling by columns, you simply say by row is equal to true. So at the end of everything, say comma and simply say by row is equal to true. So now you can see some pop-up that comes out. This pop-up that comes out is called IntelliSense. Let me write it out for you, because as a data scientist that uses this application, you'll need to know the terms, the name of the terms. IntelliSense. So that is what it's called. IntelliSense is some pop-up that comes out to help you type faster or to help you do autocomplete on what you are typing. So a normal keypad in phone is called autocomplete, but in programming we call it IntelliSense. By row equal to true. So at this point, it's going to create. So it's giving me an error. By row is equal to true. Okay, so by row in lowercase. So at this point, if I check what the value of the matrix A is, you can see that it fills it up correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly as we want. So in this case, it's filling it the first row at a time. 1, 2, this is row 1, and row 2, 3, 4. So that is what is called by row. Okay, so now we've actually written something that looks difficult. So all this long line of code we've written, we can actually make it easy by just removing all of this. Just leave all the numbers that we need. So if you just put it in this way, just take all this by row. So the first thing is the collection you want to use for your matrix, the number of rows, the number of columns, and then whether it's going to fill this matrix by row. So I'm going to press enter, and if I check what matrix A is, you can see that it is now filled by row, and now it's written in a very much shorter form. Alright, so let me now teach you something really very important. Let's say you want to create a matrix made up of 20 items. Let's say matrix B is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 20. And you want it to be maybe 4 by 5 matrix, 4 rows, 5 columns, or 5 rows, 4 columns, because 20 is the same as 4 times 5. 4 times 5. So how do you do it? Is it necessary to write out all of this? That will not be necessary. This will be written as 1 colon 20. So this is the same as count from 1 to 20. So let's try it out. The first thing I'm going to write is to write C, and I'm going to try to see what is inside 1 colon 20, and you can see that 1 colon 20 gives you count from 1 to 20. I'm going to actually write it out clearly here. I'm going to specify clearly count from 1 to 20. So you specify a range. So the colon operator specifies a range. So let's use it in matrices. So if we say matrix B equal to matrix, and we have from 1 to 20, and number of rows 4, number of columns 5, and by row is equal to true. So it created this matrix B, and if I check what is there, you can see that it actually created this matrix B. So at this point, I'm going to stop here. This is just the simplest part of our class in matrix. So in the next class, we are going to now look at slicing operator, how to reference or index elements in an array, how to select rows, and how to select columns. I'm going to stop here for now. I'd like to thank you for viewing. Remember, subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. In that way, you kind of motivate me to continue making these lessons, and also you get notified when I make updates for new lessons.